This morning, I'm joined by Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty Associate Counsel, Cory Brewer. Good morning, Cory. How are you?
Good morning, Meg. I'm doing okay. How are you this morning?
A little bit tired, a little bit groggy, very disappointed in yesterday's election results. But we have to move forward somehow, right?
Right, absolutely.
Well,
Yep.
and I'm glad, frankly, I'm glad that there are organizations still out there like Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty, and invited you on the program this morning to talk about an issue in the West Allis-West Milwaukee School Board. And evidently, there was someone who wanted to enter public comments at a recent school board meeting and was essentially shut down from speaking. Let's talk about that.
Yes, we sent a letter to the board, specifically the board president in West Allis, West Milwaukee, just a few days ago, April 3rd. So a week ago, there was a gentleman. He's retired. He's a resident of that school district. He heard that a LGBTQ curriculum was being discussed for the district, and he used his time at public comment to raise concerns about that. And he has a First Amendment right to do so. It's in accordance with the school policy to do so. But when he started to raise concerns in opposition to an LGBTQ curriculum, specifically gender ideology being taught in schools, the school board president told him that it was hate speech. And really all he said, and he said it very calmly, he said, "This is an effort to normalize a transgender social contagion that legitimate experts agree is most often an undiagnosed psychological problem." So that's a quote, and it's in a video. And as soon as he said that, he was accused of hate speech and warned and told not to continue down that route. So we were really concerned, and he was actually shut down again as he continued to speak, again, calmly, not attacking anyone, not threatening, not abusing. It was a very calm comment, raising concerns as a community member, and he was just told, "This is hate speech. You may not continue." Well, he wasn't explicitly told, "You may not continue," but literally talked over such that he could not complete his public comment and was forced to sit down.
You know, that's really, I don't want to say amazing is not the right word, but it certainly will send a chilling effect if they are not held accountable for their actions, because I think that is has been a somewhat effective tactic of those on the left, is to claim that someone is using hate speech in an effort to shut them up and to shut them down. And I'm very glad that your organization, Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty, is now involved in this. So you sent the letter 2 days ago?
Correct. Yes. Our concern is exactly what you mentioned there, that this chills speech. We explained in our letter that what occurred was a First Amendment violation. This gentleman's constitutional rights were violated because our Supreme Court has held multiple times that the government cannot discriminate against ideas that offend. They can't shut down one side of a viewpoint but allow the other side of a viewpoint. And they cannot silence or censor speech simply because it's offensive or it makes them uncomfortable. And exactly what you said, that if this school board in West Allis, West Milwaukee is doing this, other school boards across the state, across the country are likely doing this. It chills speech. It could impact the content of speech. It could suppress, again, just one side of one viewpoint of an issue and diminish folks' willingness to participate in board meetings at all when they have a right to do so. So we really wanted to kind of explicitly say, we urge you to not continue down this path. This is a First Amendment violation. You cannot censor someone during public comment simply because you find what they're saying to be offensive.
Well, and I guess I look at comments made by United States Attorney General Merrick Garland in referring to parents who attend school board meetings and express their point of view and are appearing at school board meetings as advocates for their children and representing their children and what's best for their children, and then being labeled as domestic terrorists. I mean, this is a pattern now of behavior, and Merrick Garland has in what his department is doing, or his division of the government is doing, is he is essentially enabling school board members like this one in West Allis to do this, and if there are no consequences for their actions, this is going to continue.
It's a real concern. It is a real concern. Our First Amendment does not allow the government to abridge the freedom of speech. In a forum like a school board meeting, there are some restrictions that can kind of be in place. You know, you don't want somebody talking about their weekend plan, something that's completely irrelevant, again, something threatening. So you can place some guidelines on speech during public comment. But what happened here was a clear violation of the First Amendment rights of this gentleman. Even the school board policy recognizes the value of public comment on education issues. And going back to what's best for the students, you want community members, parents, to be allowed to discuss all sides of issues related to the district. Absolutely. I think you want to allow for that public comment, that involvement of the community. And here, just because they deemed something, quote unquote, hate speech, which, by the way, is not defined in any of their school policies, they said, thank you. You may not continue talking about this. How dare you criticize this proposed curriculum?
Wow, it's just so. How long have you given the school board to respond to this?
In this instance, we haven't required a response. We haven't threatened a lawsuit. It's more of a public means of putting them on notice that what you're doing is a violation of your citizens' rights. And we will certainly be paying attention both to this school board, to other school boards, because this should not continue to occur. We have asked the board to issue an apology to this gentleman because, again, he was respectful in his comments. He was calm. He used, he said, this is science. There are two opinions here. Do you only want to hear one opinion? And really, we just want the board to know we're watching you. The community's watching you. The community has a right to express their opinions on things related to the district. And we've really just urged them to respect the First Amendment rights of their community members in the district.
Has this situation mobilized a group of local grassroots activists to get involved? I mean, are they rallying behind this gentleman who spoke at a school board meeting? Were there a number of other concerned parents, concerned citizens that were present at the school board meeting?
Yes, there were other concerned parents present. You can see kind of additional parents in the full video that, again, we've linked in our letter. I don't know the extent to which they're rallying. I think a lot of it is on social media. There are certainly parents that are concerned with the way that this district is being handled, the way certain things are being handled by the school board. There's one instance that's been in the media with the way the district has handled claims of a disabled student not being safe in the district. So I know there are parents that are really involved. They're paying attention. They're concerned. And really, they're just disappointed because, again, what's best for students? If the district is not following the Constitution, if the district is not keeping parents involved, allowing them to raise concerns, keeping students safe adequately, that's not good for students. So absolutely, there are parents that are really concerned about this. I'm hoping that it's discussed more and more because transparency is always a good thing, and the community should know what's happening in their local school district.
Well, and I mean, I don't know how. I mean, it's a really difficult thing to argue against the First Amendment. I don't know how they can't respond favorably to, and when I say they, I mean the school board at West Milwaukee, West Milwaukee, how they can't respond favorably to what you have, how you have notified them, and I mean I would like to hope that they make some changes to how they treat those that enter into public comments at school board meetings. But I guess it remains to be seen. Do you, if you do not receive any response, what is well, maybe you don't want to divulge this, but what are the next steps?
Well, we have been contacted by the attorneys for the school district, not with a substantive response yet, but just to let us know that they're involved.
Okay.
So I think that's a good sign. The school district has acknowledged our letter. And as you mentioned, it's one thing to say, you know what, we're not going to talk about this issue at all at a board meeting. But here, what the district did, I think, is really clearly just say, we don't like your perspective on this issue, just one side of the issue. So we are going to keep an eye on the district. We'll follow up for a response just to try to secure an acknowledgement about, how are they going to respond to our letter? Do they think that this type of behavior is okay? Do they think it is consistent with their policy? Perhaps there needs to be a discussion about what their policy is and the way that they're interacting with community members during public comment at school board meetings. So we're always interested in, we're trying to create resources to help community members, parents engage with their school boards, create model policies for school boards. We're just always trying to make it easier to interact, and we'll follow up. We hope to have a discussion about this. It's, again, a really, really key rights of citizens to have this First Amendment right to express concerns, express views about the district. So we'll remain involved. We haven't articulated any specific action steps going forward, but it's certainly something that we will keep an eye on and follow up with.
Well, and again, I already used the word precedent, but I mean, what other topics are taboo at school board meetings? I mean, who gets to decide that? And I mean, again, that's a violation of the First Amendment if there is a school board, in this case, the school board president, shutting down the speech of those with whom he disagrees. And boy, that's something we see quite often today, unfortunately, among conservatives.
Unfortunately, it is. And I think, we support free speech on all sides of issues. We think more speech is a good thing. More transparency is a good thing. We should be able to discuss and debate issues openly, especially when it's involving minor students. And what are students going to be taught? What are these children going to be exposed to in schools? I think we need to be allowed to talk about those things. We need to care about the children in our communities, the children in our schools, and not shut down, silence, censor certain sides of hotly debated issues.
Well, and I think hate speech is a code term for that which the left disagrees, and they really throw that term around lightly, intentionally, I think, in order to shame people or frighten people into silence. And well, I am very grateful for you joining me this morning to talk about this issue. Cory Brewer from the Wisconsin Institute for Law and Liberty. If you want to learn more about Will's organization, go out to will-law.org. Keep in touch, Cory, and let me know if how this turns out. I'll be keeping an eye on it as well.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Cory. Have a great day. I'm going to go to a break, and I'll be right back on the WSAU Wisconsin Morning News.